she's not shopping for jobs, but she's been headhunted every time on LinkedIn. And she's switched so many jobs that I'm so proud of her, because every time she's switching, she's making more money, but she's being very strategic about it. And she's going to share her experience. And I have her husband, Bharat, and he's in the leadership role, promoted. And I'm so proud of these two people that keep on showing up in the program like this to share their inspiring stories. I know it's Saturday, they don't have to do it, but they're doing it anyway to give it back to the community and to the people like you. All right. Subham, I'm going to mute you. All right. Guys, I just want to make sure that you mute yourself so that way our audience can just literally, talk and you can get takeaways from this, okay? Kriti and Bharat, thank you so much for coming in. Who wants to go first? When did you come to Canada? Why did you decide to invest in yourself? And then how did that go?
Thank you so much for having us over, Sweta, and a very warm welcome to everybody who's joining in. So I'm Kriti. This is my husband, Bharat.
Hello, everyone.
Do you want to do it?
Okay, sure. So I was already I was already on a leadership role back in India, and we moved in 2019 September, and moving to a new country was always a challenge, because back when we are in our home country, we are having a sufficient kind of comfort that we are working with. And the reason we moved here was to explore ourselves, to expand ourselves rather, and grow in the new community like Canadian, which provides lots of opportunities for professionals and people to grow. So the competition is not as equivalent as we get in our home countries. So that's where the decision was taken. And after taking the decision, we were scared, okay, we took it and everything went well. Now what? Because in a new country, we don't know about how the job industry, how the whole culture works here, how the community is.
Yeah, and there's so many barriers. You have mental blocks, you have cultural blocks, you have professional blocks as well, because what you consider, you might be working in a proper corporate back home, but that corporate culture is very different to the country that you're immigrating to, right? So it is a very nervous and very overwhelming experience to start with. And then it's like you jump off from a cliff and then you don't know where you're going to land. So it's better to be equipped, so you know that you're going to have a soft landing, right?
So before we moved here, we started doing our homework of how are we going to target things. And that's where we came across Sweta as a person on LinkedIn who provides lots of guidances. We were not well equipped at that point in time when we were in India. So we didn't do the homework at that point in time. We just connected with her and we told her that we'll be coming to Canada. And
we just shared our plans with her. This is what we're planning to do. This is the industries that we want to work with or we have worked with. So that way she gets to know where we are coming from. And then that's exactly the investment we wanted to do in ourselves and in the services. Because yes, we might be experts in what we are working with in our industries, but that doesn't mean that we know everything, right? So it's when you need professional services, like medical professional services, you go to a doctor, right? You don't self-assess yourself and start healing yourself or trying different medications and things. Similarly, your professional life, your entire work experience from one job to another, from one position to another, it's a chart, it's a growth chart, and you need a hand holding. You need that guidance, you need that expertise from a person and a service provider like Sweta, like Teach and Do. They know what they're doing and they know how they can get you from your point A to point B.
Sorry, Pooja, do you have any questions?
No, I think it's a one. That's why I think whoever speaks, I think when we are not muted, it just shows our face. That's why. Go on.
Oh. So coming to the challenges that we faced, honestly, if you ask us, there were challenges, and I would say that cushions like Teach and Do helped us. Yes, Pooja?
Pooja, do you want to mute yourself? Because you're coming up here. Let me just mute her. Okay, go on.
Yeah, so cushions like Sweta and many other experts in their fields helped us in settling well in the new country. And if you ask us, we landed in September. And I would say, luckily, with all the efforts we all as a team put in, I got my job in the month of November start. And Kriti also got more or less in the same time. Uh, we were mentally prepared that at least it would take some 6 months time. So I was giving myself 6 months. But I would say that with the preparations, the right kind of resources available with you, the point of selling yourself, which is the most important aspects in getting a job or finding a job, that was possible with the right kind of resources that we were holding in.
Yeah, and like when you're trying to apply for a job, before they talk to you, they look at your resume, right? So your resume has to be so strong that it can speak for itself. So like to create something like that, you have to understand how it has various parts and what should go on it, what should come off it, and all these things. Like if you sit down with your own resume, you might feel that a certain item on your resume is of utmost importance to you. But is that something that the company, the hiring company, is that something meaningful for them? So all these kind of like weeding things out, eliminating omissions, inclusions, you need expert service on that. Like unless you want to just burn your opportunities and just go on applying 200 jobs in one day with the same resume, it's not going to work.
How long did it take you, Kriti? I remember you getting excited. How long did it take you to get the offers after you finally started? Okay, this is it. I'm going to go through it. Give us a days. I was surprised as well at the same time.
Yeah, I started looking somewhere mid-November. And because we landed in September, but I had to go back home for a personal medical emergency. We lost my mother, so I had to go back. And then I came back after a month and a half. So I started applying and I started receiving multiple offers in like the first 20 days. But even for the time that I was away, I made sure that I keep on investing in the services that I had with Sweta. So I was constantly in touch with her to get my resume ready, right? Because I knew that, yes, right now I'm not in the country, but I am coming back and I have to job search. Right. So starting it soon, the moment you decide that, yes, now you are at a position where, your visas and things are coming in and, you're getting closer to your travel date, I would suggest that, start investing in these services and start working on yourself. So that once you land, you already, you've explored the market, you've connected with the right people, you have your resume ready and you feel confident. That builds up. Like, when you were ready with all these tools and services, once you start getting your interview calls, you feel confident. You know that you put in the efforts and it all adds up. So in the first 20 days, I got like 3 offers. And then I was a decision maker that who I want to work with. And that gave me immense power. And even till now, like after switching so many jobs and like every time I think I'm ready to move on, I go back to that point where I first got 3 offers that, yes, I was able to get this and I will be able to get it again. So, it's like repeating your master stroke. It just builds more and more confidence.
I remember, Kriti, when you were moving to Canada, and I think you read my post and you reached out to me before even landing.
Yeah.
And actually, that was a great lesson for me because I was not taking clients who were not in Canada yet. And when you reached out to me, I said, wait. And you were pushing it very hard. And I remember, and that was such a great strategy. And I think I learned the lesson from you as well. Later on thinking, okay, I think that's a good strategy to get everything ready. And life happened to you. I'm sorry about your mother's loss. I know that. But you still bounced back and you said, I think this is a priority now. So I'm there. I've taken care of the things. And then you said, I'm going to start it right now, right? So even though you were emotionally not ready, but you did it and you landed the offer in 20 offers. So 20 days and a lot of offers too. And tell me what happened later on after you worked there. How many times you switched so far?
So I'm at my 5th job in 4 years.
And every time you switch, how much, like go back originally when you landed the role and how much you made, like, right now, when you were to compare yourself from the day that you landed that role in Canada,
Right.
how much are you making more right now, percentage wise?
50% more than what I joined.
Yeah. And every time you didn't,
almost double. Yes.
Not 50%.
Not 50%, like 1.5 to 1.7 times, like that way.
So it's just almost double.
Yeah. And then
I switched, I definitely made more than like 20%.
And every time, what was going on in your head? Like, I remember you were approached right after. Every 3 months, you're like, I don't think I want to switch with that. It looks so bad on resume. It would be seen as I'm not committed, job hopping. And what would we talk about at that point?
See, that was my mental block, because back home where I was coming from, I was coming with 12 years experience working back home, right? Now, back home, professionalism comes from the length of the time, like, how long have you been working for a company? And more or less, it's the same scenario throughout like different countries. But at the same time, when you are in a company for a longer time, you yourself are restricting your growth, because your yearly appraisals are not going to be, as good as how much you make when you jump. Right. And when you jump, you definitely not only make more money, but you grow vertically as well as horizontally, is what I have learned. Because from my first role here to my current role, I have experience on working with like different softwares, corporations, small business, mid-sized businesses, and now back to a corporate. So I think it made me more hands-on. Yes, it's nerve-wracking to, just leave your comfort zone and then jump out again. But it builds so much confidence within you that it's just a great feeling. And yes, you get questions when I apply now, or I haven't really applied, but when the headhunters are really approaching me, this is their first question that they ask me, like, what was the reason you left so-and-so company? Why did you do only these many months? But then you need to have those answers ready. You need to have those justifications ready. And they have to always, it has to support what you're saying. So as long as you have a plan, you have a strategy that you're following, I don't think it's a hurdle. It's rather, it shows that you are adaptable. You are a cultural fit, because it's not the company that is letting you go, but it's you who is deciding that you can do more, you deserve better. You want to learn, earn, and grow. So all those 3 things, you have to keep on circling back. Your thoughts and your resume has to support that.
That is great lesson for everybody right now. If you're thinking that switching the job and you're trying to be selfish, I want all of you to be selfish.
Yep,
because if there's a layoff happening, something's happening, company's not going to think about you no matter how much you work there. I worked there for 12 years. I was gone in 1 minute over the phone. And honestly, I wish I was like Kriti back then. I was so loyal that I thought that my life is this work. I'm going to retire from here, came from that mentality. And now I tell people, look out for yourself. Nobody cares. There's no family at work. And Kriti did not approach people. Remember, that's a key takeaway, right? She was approached because of her branding, because she knew what she wanted. She was so clear on it, like point sharp, that she knew how to talk to people. And her resume was stellar when she started to customize it accordingly based on the employer's need, right? And that's the proud moment for immigrant like that, newcomer, and she bought the house, she's living a dream. Now let's move on to Bharat. Tell us your story about, you got promoted. How did you get promoted? How are you feeling it right now?
Well, actually, I got promoted to accounting manager. Earlier, I was an individual contributor, and the feeling is great. Can't be expressed in words, because that's where I was always like looking for. When I moved here, I started as an individual contributor, and I was thinking to myself that, okay, am I should I have taken this decision of moving to the new country? Because back in my home country, I was a manager there. So it's always difficult to get into or fit into the situation where you have already gone through in your past, you worked yourself up to a level,
yourself.
you proved yourself, and after that, again, you have to prove it. But then here I was able to prove myself on work. Honestly, before proving myself with my work, the way it was, the presentation of yourself is based on how you show yourself on the resume, how you show yourself on professional platforms like LinkedIn, how you are presenting yourself during interviews. All of that, as a like, the whole package is really very important. Because when I remember, when I moved to this company, I was told that, okay, I'll be an individual contributor, facing XYZ challenges, and everything was noted down to me, told to me that you will be responsible for doing all these activities. And at that point in time, I was wondering, should I be asking that, oh, okay, when I would be getting promoted? So that was something that I didn't really pushed on to my manager, but I asked her that, okay, what would be the future steps, or where should I be looking for in the next year? So that's where she mentioned that, okay, if you are able to achieve this, if you are able to prove yourself, then there are chances that you get expansion in your role. At the same time, you will get promoted. So that's where I had to catch the opportunity. I grabbed the opportunity by proving myself, worked hard, and also at the same time, being a right fit to the culture is what is more important after getting the job offer. And that's where I worked on. Honestly, if you ask me, my power or command on my communication is not as strong as hers, and that's where she is able to get so many opportunities. But at the same time, I make sure that whatever I'm supposed to communicate, the communication goes very well and the other person understands it. So that's where the challenges were there. I worked on myself and still working on at the same time. And luckily, all the projects that were there was successfully completed, and as a fruit, I got promotion. Now I'm leading a team of 4 people, and handling my roles and responsibilities, and adding up new responsibilities at the same time. So again, now at this point in time, I am eyeing for the next level. So what next is always the go-to pointers for me. Like, what next after this is done? What next?
CPA, CPA, CPA.
Fingers
Well,
crossed.
fingers crossed. Waiting for it.
That's such a beautiful story. And I hate to say it, you're a great communicator. If you like communication, what does communication mean to you, right? I don't think you would have been promoted if you had that leadership skills. I want every one of you right now to take a look at yourself and give a pat on your shoulder and say, you know what, no one promotes you because you're not good enough. They promote you. Your boss is going to promote you because they want to look good for themselves, for their bosses too. There's no place for doing a favor. No one favors you, right?
No.
You earned it.
Yeah.
And you earned it because they saw leadership skills in you, right? And I think you got to celebrate that moment as well. Sometimes I feel like within the immigrant community, we are so laid back when it comes to promoting ourselves, talking about ourselves, bragging about ourselves, right? The evidence are there, then you got to brag about yourself, and how you do it is completely different as well, right? Before I let you go, I know it's busy, and I have Zaid on the call as well, and I know he has to go as well. I'm going to be inviting soon. Do you want to add anything to people who are still debating on investing themselves, thinking that, oh my God, this is too much for me, I can't invest? They're feeling guilty. They're like, I'd rather not do it. Do you want to add anything that why should people invest in themselves?
Sure. I would say that the cost of not investing in yourself is a lot more than the cost of investing in yourself. Listen to this twice, and it will definitely make sense to you. I'm not saying this just for the sake of saying it, but I have lived it, and I live it by every day. Like every job switch, every time I'm earning more, I'm thanking myself first. That thank you self that I made this choice of investing into a professional service, teach and do, because otherwise I don't know where would I have landed. I might have been surviving jobs.
Oh, that's so beautiful. Bharat, do you want to add anything at all? Why should people invest in this and these kind of thing?
Well, I actually come from a background of securities market and stock market. Investing in anything that gives you return is something that you should always look for.
Yeah.
Investment in something that doesn't give you anything in return is not a good investment. To start with, investing in services like this would really help you. At the same time, I believe all of the new immigrants who are coming here are experienced. Think from the point of view that whatever you are investing, you are getting it returned in a month or a 2 months salary of yours.
Yeah.
Oh,
It-
that's beautiful.
it
Small
won't be-
percentage of it.
Yeah. So if you look at yourself, like not getting the right kind of resources to find a job and then ending up doing a survival job, whatever money that you would be earning, that's not your earning. Actually, you lost of the opportunities what you would have otherwise got.
Yep.
So that's where the right choices of making this kind of investments is really helpful. So I would say think twice, but at the same time, after taking the decision, don't think on that
Don't
decision.
think again. Like,
Go ahead with it.
Yeah.
It's just like you are jumping from
cliff.
like a second level or into the swimming pool, and then after you are jumping, you are on the air. Just
Just believe in
believe
it,
in yourself.
that you survive and you really ace it. Like it gives you immense power. The first job that you get, the first offer letter that you get, it gives you wings.
Yeah,
It definitely does.
very true.
Oh gosh, I'm getting emotional going back to like so many memories together, and I can't
Honestly.
wait to see you grow and just literally climb the ladders up and up and up and up. And thank you so much for coming in. You both inspiring me so much. And I'm like tearing up right now. As you can tell.
Also,
I
one
know.
more thing to add.
Yeah.
Thing to add. Whenever from the job perspective or job market related confusion we always reach out to you. So
Yeah,
we
I
would
do.
rather thank you, Sweta, for guiding us through not only at the very first stage where we
We were just looking to start,
with,
but like you hand-holded us like the whole time. Like I know my questions when I reach out to you and I read it again, I'm like, that sounds so not professional of me. But I'm like, no, I'm just going to reach out to her. I need her to tell me this. Yes.
So rather, we appreciate you helping us through this journey, and that doesn't mean that we won't be bothering you in future as well.
Oh yeah.
Anytime.
So the bothering part will
That's
continue.
yeah,
even
you
in
know what?
future.
Thank you for saying that, because that's the beauty of this program, that I'm not treating my clients as a transactions, right? It's like you're done, so any questions, because you invested in yourself, I would always be there for you all. And thank you so much for coming in. And I wish you all the best, and we'll be absolutely keep in touch.
I believe there are some
you. questions.
questions. I'm not sure if that's
Do you want to
related.
take it? Okay. Zed, are you there? Do you want to come on the camera as well? I don't know if you want to. It's no, commitment, nothing. You can talk. I know you're not on camera. It's up to you. You can come in and then share your inspiring story. Next guest is Zed. He's amazing.
Yes, I'm here. I'm actually driving, so
Oh my
can't
God,
come on
poor
camera,
guy.
yeah.
See what I make people do? Thank you so much. You're driving and joining in. Hey, buddy, thank you so much for coming in. You have to share your inspiring story. How did you decide to invest in yourself, and what's happening right now in your life? Tell the world.
For sure. So coming from an engineering background and coming from having a degree back home, things really work different here in Canada compared to what you do back home. So like the previous set of people were saying that you got to invest in yourself. That's for sure, and you need to basically thrive, or you have to struggle and do the hard work and see what works best for you, right? That's what I did. So I came here, I was at a very entry level job, I was working customer service, and I moved from there into automotive sector, and then I started investing. I used services given by Sweta, and I used it to an advantage, as a tool, as a key that will help me move forward, grow forward. And that's what I did, and that's what I'm doing even now. I've worked with various companies like Honda, I work with Stellantis. I'm right now working with one of the global pipe manufacturing companies as well. So, and also like you need to know what like actually fits you perfectly, what's best for you, based on your, I would say, based on your career, based on your degree, based on the job market. Um, I also worked and I got my PMP, so like I know that my field requires PMP. Well, other than that, um, it's a mix and match. I would say it's a mix and match. Basically, you need to like mix ingredients and see what the outcome is.
That is great, Jed. Thank you so much. And I remember, like, what was the increase that you made every time you moved in, going from the minimum wage to like right after promotion after promotion? Job
I would say it was I don't know exactly, but yeah, if you could say from my base wage, I started increasing from 20% to 40%. So my increases have been like that. But yeah, it's good to hear it, but only you know how much hard work has gone behind it to just get there, the struggle and
Absolutely.
everything.
Absolutely. And I truly value that you decided to reach out and you said, I'm not made for this. I was, doing something else and I didn't come here to do this and I need help. And I think that's a first step. People tend to forget about themselves. And that's a first step. Every one of us has a challenge. I need help, asking for help. And I'm so glad that you did it. And I was super excited when you started getting multiple offers. And every time you're literally posting announcement, I'm like the first one to cheerlead. I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe, right? So this is the more impactful, I think, role I've ever been, like the person who led the team before, led the top companies. I never felt that I was impacting people, right? But this is it. This is where I get to see stories and hear stories like this. And then people like you who just come in and share the stories. Not everyone is going to do that, but so much good coming out of this with your stories. I hope someday someone looks at you and say, I can be you. So thank you so much for coming, Jade. Jade, I'm going to not butcher your name because you called me out. See, that's what happens.
No worries, all good. Yeah.
Jade, thank you so much. Do you want to add anything before I let you go? I know you're busy. Why should people invest in their self if they're second doubting this whole entire program?
I would say if people are actually focused on what they actually need and where they need to go, then they definitely need to invest in themselves. So coming into a different country like Canada, it's easy to I would say it's easy to find jobs in like a very lower sector, like general labor jobs, or like the start. I would say like the start of the job, with base wages. But if you're just too focused on like just earning money, it won't work. But if you are focused on yourself and you want to know that you need to get somewhere, and you know that that's your field and you really want it and you're passionate about it, then you need to invest in yourself. Invest in every different way. Do your own research. And that's how I did, right? I did my own research. I found your services and I reached out to you. Hey, it's where I need your services to, like tailor me basically. And you helped me tailor for what I needed actually. And that's how, and then keep searching, keep investigating what your field actually requires in this country. So it's not just like taking the services and then working it. You need to like keep modifying it constantly to be somewhere.
That is so good. Like, you've just said it beautifully. Just because you took a services, that doesn't do a damn thing if you don't know how to execute it. You got to keep on seeing it. What were you like 6 months ago? You might not want the same thing. And that's what you did for yourself as well. Every time you moved, you literally research, and obviously you won with the interview and everything. You work so hard for it. So I'm so proud of you. And thank you so much for coming. Enjoy your Saturday and Sunday, and we'll chat again.
Thanks for
All
having
right.
us.
Thank you. Michael, you have a question. What question do you have for me? So anyone who wants to talk to me, come up and then ask me questions. We're going to wrap it up this